Hi, I'm Heidi Borchers. I've always wanted to make my own crown. My friend Candace Jedowitz has a beautiful crown that she has crafted from wire, like a wire structure, and put beads on it and everything. I didn't want to take that much time, so I came up with another idea. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it? Close your eyes, close your eyes. It's just the coolest idea. You'll love it. Here it comes. I got my own crown. Ta-da! And it was so easy. So I'm going to show you some different techniques today on how I put my crown together, because we all have different things in our studios that we want to use, the different beads, and maybe I did take some jewelry apart, and I have my butterflies or stickers that I put on wire. And so I want to show you some techniques on how I did mine, and I want to show you the base of mine. It is the coolest thing. You would have never thought about it. So this is the base to my crown. Yes, it's a dollar store crown. I found this one, and I also found this one, which kind of rotated, but I like the solid one better, but you could use either one of them. Now I figured that I didn't like this on, but after I did my whole thing, I thought, oh, it didn't really matter if I would have left it on or not, but I actually took mine off, but it wouldn't matter. Now, I didn't like the openness on here, so my first thought was, okay, how can I close that up? And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to wire it. And so I used some beading wire, but then I also found this really cool, after I did everything, I found this really cool wire mesh that Artistic Wire puts out. And I thought this would have been really cool if I would have thought about it before, to just glue it to the back. I like the looks of that. But here's what I did. I took a really thin beading wire. I think it's like 34 gauge, and before I did anything else, I just completely wrapped around and around to give me just some added dimension to the crown. Just went round and round and round and filled in all these empty spaces here. And what I found too, if I worked with pieces that were like 18 inches, that it was easier to then just add another piece to it. It's funny how the thinner the ribbon, I think, or the wire, it's harder to cut when it's thin. So then I would just take in the back and I would just twist it together and then add another piece to it. To get all the different beads on it, I used a little bit thicker wire. You use like a 22 gauge wire. And of course the silver was what stood out to me because it was going to be shiny. And again, I just cut pieces of it and then I added them together, because it's too hard to take a whole bunch of the wire and do it all, because it gets all messed up. And then you just start putting on your different beads. And like I said, everyone's going to have something different, because I just chose things that I had around the studio. There's some beads that have a lot of different meaning to me that someone gave me that was very special to me. And just put them on like this. Attach your wire to begin with. And then just start to, again, wrap this wire. This is the one that's 22 gauge, over and over. Pull it really tight, and then put more beads on like that until you have the whole thing. I just went around and around. I probably used a whole package of wire to wire all my beads on. I have these really cool cartwheel beads that were kind of the center of my, I tried to put like 5 or 6 on them because I thought they were really cool. And then I saw a picture in a magazine that had these butterflies coming from the top of it, and I thought, oh, I want butterflies coming from mine. How am I going to do that? So I went into my butterfly box and I found these really cool stickers, and they had matching stickers. I could find a sticker that I could put the sticker back to back and create my butterfly. So I put a wire in between, and all I did was just wrapped it around, just around the wire, round and around, and left a little bit of a stem so that when I went to put it onto my, I just glued it on the back right here, and I was able to, when it was all done, to put it into the wire that I had already wrapped around. And also I even made some little curlicues from the wire. At the very end it needed something else, so I took and curled some of the silver wire and just made some curlicues to glue at the top. So any of the add-on ones I just glued on. And actually, after I was all done even wiring, if there was any spaces that were left on it, I actually glued some different things on. But that's what I put in at the top. Everything needed a little thing on the top, so I did that. So let's take a look again at my crown, and let me show you some of the added things that I put onto it. These little beaded flowers I found off of a jar that I had, and I loved them. They were the perfect color. I just cut them off of the little strand that I had, and they worked perfectly. So again, what you have may not be what I have, but it worked out perfectly. The little square piece with the rhinestone was from one of those stretchy bracelets that came apart, and I never got around to putting it back together. So it has 2 holes on it, and I incorporated it into it by actually wiring it with the two holes, putting wire through each hole, and it worked out perfectly. I have about 6 of those on my crown. Here's the inside of the crown. You can see all the wiring on the back. Wherever you had the wire stick out, be sure that you take your needle nose pliers and turn it over so that it doesn't stick out. I just love my new crown. I can't stop looking at it. I just love it. So what do you think? Is that just the coolest? I think so. I'm Heidi Borchers, and I think it's cool to craft, and I think it's cool to have a crown.